Hello everybody, welcome back to Chris Bosch Props. Today we are going to review the Wainlux K8 5-watt laser engraver that the company Wainlux was kind enough to send to me. They asked me if I would like to review their machine and I obliged because, to be honest, I really like laser engravers. I just think it's a really cool technology. And for those of you out there that have Etsy stores or seeking to pursue maybe an Etsy store and sell some pretty cool creative things, this is a really cool tool to have in your arsenal. It also works very well if you just want a machine to make tons of gifts for your friends and your family. It could really bring out those creative juices and you can make some pretty cool stuff. So without further ado, that's what this video is about. We're going to review this machine. We're going to see what it can do, what it can't do, and what it should do. So without further ado, let's get into it. So here we have the Wainlux K8 5-watt laser paired with an air purifier that they sent me. And for the air purifier, I did notice when using the machine that it is not the greatest air purifier. It does remove a lot of the fumes, but you can still tell there is quite a bit of fumes. Now, this is the only type of air purifier slash assist I've ever used, so I don't know a whole lot about them. It does work though, because I do have an open laser engraver over there, which is my hors d'oeuvre, and the fumes can be quite pungent with that. And I did notice that this thing did cut those fumes down about half. So it does work. Is it necessary? That depends on you, but it is not really the greatest air purifier. Now, as for our engraver here, it is an enclosed machine. It has a door that I believe attaches with a magnet. I do like the enclosed feature. We open our door. If we want to start our project, depending on whatever material we're using, we'll put our wood in there. We'll pull down this focal lever here, and then you adjust this knob right here. Super easy. I love this feature of the machine. You just lower the bed or higher the bed, but you want to get it to where it kind of touches that focal lever there. You want to get almost right to it. When you're there, just lift it up like so. Close our door, turn your machine on, and you're ready to rock. It should connect right up to Lightburn, and you can get to engraving. This machine has a build volume of 130 millimeters by 130 millimeters, which is pretty much the equivalent of 5 inches by 5 inches. The laser itself is a 5-watt laser and has a precision of 0.05 millimeters, and we're going to find out in this video how precise this laser can get. The machine comes with a dust box. When you get pretty crazy with wood, this can get pretty filled up. You can remove it, dump it. Very similar to a chicken coop. When you have your Wainlux laser engraver ready to go, you are going to hook up to your laptop or PC via USB. That is the best way of getting your machine to work. And the recommended software that I'm going to recommend for this machine is Lightburn. Lightburn just works. It is a paid software, but it consistently is being updated and it just consistently does its job. The recommended free software that comes with the machine is CutLab X, and I cannot recommend that software because it is extremely buggy, it is inconsistent, and I've seen a lot of other reviewers say the same thing. The software just sucks. Now, the downside to not being able to use CutLab X is that this engraver does come with a 4.2 megapixel camera that you can see mounted at the top of this machine. It is super small, but it is up there, and that is a feature. Unfortunately, if you're not going to use the CutLab X, you're not going to be able to use, because that camera, as far as I know, only connects via Wi-Fi. And so far, there is not a firmware upgrade that allows you to use the camera with light burn. Now, that camera is not something I need. I don't even see myself ever using it, but it might be a cool feature that one day, hopefully, they will get it to work with the light burn software. So yeah, guys, I'm not gonna really show you the camera because I'm never gonna use the CupLab X software for just that. So the software I always use is Lightburn, and it is the best software. So yeah, let's get to engraving, guys. Let's see how the actual machine works. So the first thing we're going to engrave is a slate coffee coaster, and I'm going to do this RoboCop image that I got. I turned it into a negative, and we are going to laser engrave this at a speed of 6,000 millimeters a minute and a power of 65%, guys. So let's see how it turns out. Let's see how well this machine works. Alright, so we finished engraving our RoboCop coaster. Let's see what it looks like. Absolutely perfect, guys. So the Wainlux K8 can engrave coasters with absolutely zero issue. Very cool. Let's move on to the next thing. So one thing I do like to engrave is these painted canvases. I basically just painted like a white coat of spray paint, and then over that a black coat of spray paint, and when it gets engraved it can create an image for you. So I really like doing these. I want to see if this Wainlux can do it or not. Okay guys, let's see how our image engraved on our black canvas here. Grab it. That looks absolutely excellent. So this laser engraver will have no problem engraving small canvases. Now we're going to see how well the Wainlux can engrave wood and cut holes out and engrave an image. So let's get to it. Let's see how it does it. Looks like it cut it out no problem. And all the holes cut out perfectly. Very nice. It came out really, really good, guys. So it does its job with wood, as we can see here. There is a little bit of charring there, but that can probably be adjusted with some settings. But yeah, it did the job and it cut it without any issue. I like it. Another thing I really wanted to do, in the sample kit comes these aluminum cards that are painted or anodized. I'm not really sure, but you can use these to make business cards or just engrave photos. And it engraved a HD photo on there without any issue, and it looks phenomenal. So one thing I'm curious about is if this laser engraver can engrave metal or brass. This came in the sample kit as well, this dog tag, and I have a dog, so I'm going to engrave my dog's name and see if it can do it. It looks like it engraved, I'm just shutting the door because of the noise, the fan's blowing in there. It looks like it engraved that without any issue, and it looks super crispy clean. What I did notice though is it didn't actually engrave, or should I say like emboss the metal, but it took off the coating and revealed the zinc underneath so that it shows whatever font or picture that you might use. So this is something I just wanted to play around with an extra painted canvas that I had. I wanted to see if it could engrave this Christopher Reeve Superman photo that I had on the computer, and look at the precision that it was able to engrave that image. That just looks phenomenal, guys. Look at the detail. So these laser engravers, they boast of a 0.05 millimeter precision. Now I don't know exactly what that means, but I can tell here that it is able to be precise. Okay guys, so now for my final thoughts on the Wainlux K8 5-watt laser. I'm gonna have to start with the cons first. And the first con that I have is not necessarily towards this particular machine, but it's just kind of laser engravers in general, is that they are not very user friendly. And what I mean by that is they're not plug and play. And some of us expect to just get these machines, open them up, and we want to get to engraving. And unfortunately, the technology is just not quite there that you plug it into your machine, you click, and you go. It just doesn't do that. You do have to follow some instructions to install drivers. Depending on your particular operating system, it might or might not work. You might have to jump through some different hoops to get certain drivers. It's just kind of the nature of the beast with these machines at the moment. So people at Wainlux or Tour or other laser engraver companies, if you watch this video, please try to make these machines more user friendly so that they are just plug and play. That would be a con for me. And why that's a con for me is I did have an issue with not very good instructions with this machine. And that issue was, when I first got it, I followed the instructions to the T, installed all the drivers, and I couldn't get the machine to work. I couldn't get it to home with the Lightburn software. It would connect to Lightburn, but it just wouldn't react to any of the actions I was trying to make it do. Well, 3 hours into the troubleshooting process, I accidentally closed the door. And when I closed the door, the machine worked right away. So that is, I guess, a safety feature of the machine, is it will not work with any software unless the door's closed. So I wish I would have knew that 3 hours before when I first got the machine, because I was about to just give up, because that 3 hours could have turned into 3 days. And as far as I know, there's nothing in the user manual that tells us that that door has to be closed. Now, I understand why it needs to be closed on what they were trying to go for with an enclosed machine, and that's to protect you from carcinogens and fumes, especially paired with their air purifier. That's a good thing, but I do see the downside of not being able to open the door is that it's very hard to frame. Now, you're probably asking, what is framing, Chris? Framing is where you get the laser and it moves and it helps you to know where your image is and where you're going to engrave it. So when you have that door closed, it's hard to see the laser and where you are framing at. So I don't like that feature. I hope maybe there will be a firmware update that they will allow us to use the machine with the door open and closed. But once I got it closed, it worked for me, no problem. Got it going with Lightburn, and as you guys have seen, I went to town and started engraving. So on the positive side, the machine is awesome. It works. It does everything that I like these machines to do, and I see myself having this in my arsenal for a long, long time. And if you are a prospect and new and wanting to get into laser engraving, I do recommend this machine for you. It's not very expensive. It's only about $399, I believe. And if you're interested, I will leave a link below. And that's it for me, guys. I like the machine. It works. It's awesome. And we're on to the next one, guys. Thank you for watching. Appreciate it.